investor who might get a cut of every single one of those investments. I can recognize that. But no amount of investment is going to lead to economic development in Armenia without institutional changes. No? Okay. We have typical examples in political science where countries that have billions of dollars of revenue, for example, from oil, are essentially catastrophic states like Nigeria and other places. It's not that they don't have money, they don't have billions of dollars. It's that the institutions are such, the system is such, that that money tends to not to serve real social and purposes or economic purposes. In order to really increase investment, of course, you have to establish a system whereby the rule of law prevails, accountability prevails, popular choices are respected, you know. The legal system in particular is independent, the tax system does its real job, the police does its business, and it would be a good idea, for example, to avoid having about 40% of your National Assembly populated by some particular types of individuals that I won't define. No? So in this situation, this type of simplistic, or especially the type of things that appeal to the patriotism of the diaspora, that wants to make you almost feel guilty, you know, for not doing more for the Hyrenic or Myrenic and so on. I am extremely skeptical about this type of attitude, and there will not be significant economic development, improvement in the lot of the majority of the population, not of 10% of the population living between Apovian Boulevard, the Republic Square, the Opera, and some areas around Mashtots and other little quarters down of Bargramian, you know, not only for those people. Okay, there will not be any significant real economic development until institutional reforms and political reforms become reality. Yes, there will be success stories in areas where you cannot be looted. The main one being, for example, high tech, which is essentially brain power. You can do good business in Armenia with some mathematicians, physicists, because it's difficult for people to rob that, you know, or to take a cut for that, you know, to say either you give me that much or you know. Okay. But overall, dozens and dozens of stories of people who have invested there, and some of them have ended up in catastrophic outcomes, and others, quite frankly, and with a sense of utmost detachment and pleasure actually, tell you, yes, I paid bribes and bribes and bribes, and they are in a way they seem to be very happy with that. They feel that that's the way to go. Okay, that might be the case, but it is quite clear also that without democracy there cannot be any kind of economic development. It is easy to look at the institutional structures, you know, reform and democracy. You look at the 15 wealthiest countries in the world, with the exception of China, you will find out that all of them, all of the others, you know, are classic democracies, either pure models or quasi-democracies, even like Turkey, which is the 15th, I believe, country. Okay, it's not a democracy, but you know, there are free elections and so on. Of course, there are minorities that are second class, there are assassinations, but the votes are not rigged, you know, and things like that. So, in a nutshell, the economy of Armenia is not going to improve substantially within the next 10 years. Not until you are able to see on the market here a product made in Armenia. A bicycle, let's say, anything. Not just Godai beers, Giligia, some preserves in Armenian groceries. That is, once you will be able to see that an Armenian oligarch is more than a rentier capitalist, who is extracting a rent from the economy. He is also a real entrepreneur. With that rent, you know, he is able to build something that can be exported. Okay? Not until then will there be a real economy in Armenia and real economic growth. Building buildings is not exactly developing an economy. This having been said, and to end these long lectures, one of the points I wanted to make after these comments about Armenia as a result of this demographic situation is that, of course, there hasn't been any kind of open conversation, rational conversation in the diaspora. None of the political parties or other organizations has tried to address these issues openly in a dispassionate manner. They address them from time to time when it serves their own purpose for particular political reasons. You know, if there is a crisis with this leader, then suddenly some realize that there are social and economic problems. If they have good relations with some of the leaders, they don't see any problem for 9 years, for example, or 10. You know, this is not the way a nation that is serious about building its future is going to build. As for the typical attitude, the kind of utopian, fantastic attitude of slogans like "Tebi Yergir," "Hayrena Tartutun," "Vera Tarts," and so on. Well, in case the reality is not quite clear, the logos that should be used to reflect the reality of the past 15 years is Tebi Yergir. That is what is going on. And the main thing, I think, is at least in the diaspora to be able to discuss these issues openly on the basis of reason and arguments. Because these issues, there is a price to be paid for them in the future. No? Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Professor Astourian. Now, after listening to all these issues that Armenians have, and we need a lot of work apparently in the future, what are the questions? Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if your numbers included those of ARPA, and if you have any specific figures.
What do you mean?
What was the population before the program?
Oh, no, the population of Karabakh, these are included in these numbers, you know. We don't know what the exact population is today. There is a census data. Okay, it's something about 130, 140,000 inhabitants, at least officially.
Yes.
Yeah, in your gloomy picture, how long do you think it'll take before the people in Armenia could read that KBR Dirgir?
How long it will take for what? For them
to be able to read KBR Dirgir. Isn't that what you said?
I said, yeah.
KBR Dirgir.
Yeah,
so
the
how long will
reality
it
is
take for them to be able to
KBR
read
Dirgir.
in Armenia?
Hmm?
In Armenia.
Yeah, what
you don't understand my question?
No, I don't.
Well, I'll repeat it.
Yeah, thank you.
In your estimation, how long do you think it will take for people in Armenia to be able to read the sign Tebi Ardiagir in Armenian?
To be able to read the sign Tebi Ardiagir in Armenian. To stop that? I don't know. I cannot reply because it's anybody's guess.
In light of the fact that they're pushing foreign language schools and everything else, do you think it will take 2, 4, 5, 10 generations? How long do you think?
Yeah. Okay, I see. You have already the answer to your own question, so that's good. That's perfect. I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
You touched about the assimilation and acculturation of the Armenian population in the Western diaspora. In your estimates, what is the rate, or maybe based on statistics or past data, what is the rate of acculturation and assimilation? For instance, loss of language, foreign schools, marriage to outside of the Armenian.
Well,
repeat the question so everybody.
yeah, it's the question pertains to the rate of acculturation or assimilation, mixed marriages in the West, in the Western communities.